This is money talk, baby. So
Let's go.
yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to, I'd say, the first episode of Silent Warriors podcast. Had one a while back, kind of lost the rails with this one, and we're getting it back going for 2023. Couldn't be happier to have two very special guests with me, Patrick and Milan. They both run a fantastic trading community, Meisztro Trading. And real quick, if you guys could just give a quick little elevator pitch of where you guys are from and how old you are now. So, Pat, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so my name is Patrick. My name is also Meisztro online, as you might know, is from coming from this shirt right here. Essentially, I'm from Las Vegas, born and raised, family immigrants from Hungary. So actually, I'm a first generation born American and graduated in college with 2 degrees in finance and real estate. Been trading options now and stocks and more like equities nowadays since about two years now, coming on to three, coming into middle of 2023 there. So pleasure to be on the podcast, and so far so good, looking beautiful.
Sweet. Stoked to have you, man.
Awesome. My name's Milan. They call me sub-native online, apparently. I've been trading equity for about 3 years now and decided to make a career out of it. And it's going pretty well. You know, Pat took me on to the school after he got it up and running, and we really made some nice changes, some nice adjustments moving forward, and things are looking good. Definitely
Sweet.
happy to be a part of it. From North Jersey, New York area, stuff like that.
Sweet.
That's about it,
Where are
man.
you guys both living now? So, Pat, you're living in Vegas now, which is home for you.
Yes.
Sweet. And Milan, you're in Jersey.
Yeah, up in North Jersey.
Sweet. And did you go to college, Milan?
I did, yeah. Funny story about that. I went to college for engineering physics, and I dropped out on my second year because I quickly realized, man, I can't do things I don't want to do. You know what I mean? If my heart's
Right.
not in it, I just can't do it, man. My
Yep.
guidance counselor convinced me I wanted to do it. I believed him, and it just became apparent to me it wasn't for me. So I explored other avenues. Definitely the best decision I've ever made.
Yeah, totally. And I know, Pat, you went to college as well. That's a good thing to start with because, people know from the outside, say they haven't seen you at all, that you have a trading community, but going to college. So what made you go to college, Pat? I know you started and then got into trading after, but what made you stay with it?
Yeah, no, so college is extremely difficult. It's definitely one of the biggest, most heightened challenges that I've ever even had to face in life whatsoever. I'm really glad I did it though, because it really you always cross that point in life where you actually come to two paths, whether you want to stick to something or whether you want to go and branch off and do something else. Okay. And what made me want to go to university was basically to force myself to experience the difficulties of that two choices of that path. So it's obviously something that every person, man or woman, has to come across that kind of difficult stage in life. And I always am somebody, as young as I am, I'm always somebody that wants to be in a place of discomfort constantly, because if you're out of the comfort zone constantly, then all you're doing is growing at that point. So that makes me really grateful to have experienced the ability to be in college. And luckily through trading, getting yourself out of that kind of debt is huge. Not many people have the capability of getting out of college debt so early on. And I'm just really thankful to have the financial aid from all of that and everything like that helped me kind of lessen that debt, but also, trading had to cover the rest, obviously. So yeah, it's extremely very difficult to actually graduate college. I remember just calling my family all the time, telling them how much I hate it, because I realized, that college is as hard work as it is and as much fun as you can have. Eventually, so many people around you just become a little too used to it and comfortable because, their mom and dad are paying for it kind of guys out there and gals out there. So, a lot of people can tend to really show their true colors when everything is really peachy and beautiful. And people also show their truest colors when things are really hard, And so for me in college as a student, before I started trading, I was almost dead broke until I had a job in 2020 where COVID hit, because I was pretty much forced, well, with those two paths. I could either stay home all of COVID during the summertime and no college, online school, easy peasy, right? Drink beer, go to the beach, play games, whatever with my friends, spike ball on the beach, whatever, all my friends would invite me to do that. But instead, I thought, you know what, that sounds amazing, but I could also build myself. And, you could either use any opportunity or any kind of derailing of the train in life as a boost, or you can use it to kind of chill, or you can do some grinding. It just however you kind of want to do it. So I chose to spend my summertime in COVID during that college session to actually sell bug spray door to door. And I learned, in the hot Texas summer sun, just knocking door to door and getting death threats, getting, having to do the job with the technicians when they were short on staff. So I would have to stop doing my job, stop getting paid on that end, and actually help the technicians do their job too. So I'm used to I've had to put those difficult situations and put myself in those difficult situations, and it's made me a better trader and a better man all in all. So college absolutely it was difficult, but I'm so happy about it. Very happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love that. And something that you said too that I want to touch on is being uncomfortable. And then you said something about how, a lot of people in college, they get in that wheel of where they find a place of comfortability in the wrong place, where so they're in college and they get comfortable with going out and, being loose with their discipline or whatever it might be. And so now what do you find? School was your uncomfortable thing then. Now what are things that you do to bring that same feeling back to you of being uncomfortable? I know you do things such as fast and stuff like
Yeah,
that, but what's some other things? And
it's a
also if you want to touch on the 7-day fast that you did as well, that's pretty crazy.
yeah. So I know 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds that have some emotional immaturity still, and I'll be damned if I'm one of those. So I always every day I always try to get up early on time. Like I think I'm the only person my age that actually consistently wakes up at 6 a.m. like every single day for the last like year and a half, 2 years probably. So it's not to sound, I don't want to sound, self-righteous or some part of like ego with that, because that's not at all. That's actually the opposite of what I want to achieve by doing those things. So, I did a 7-day fast. I do all these things to actually get myself disciplined and keep my ass in check for myself. Right. So the other day I was talking to a buddy and we were on a walk in the park, and he was telling me, yeah, like, because this guy's like 35 years old, and he's telling me, yeah, my friend who's 50 years old, he's letting me stay at his house, and he tells me, he laughs at me sometimes because he's looking into me, my friend, for advice, but also knows that he's 15 years younger than the buddy that's letting him stay at his house. So he sees that and kind of thinks that, it's kind of crazy, because no matter what age you are, you're still kind of gonna do, and how disciplined you are, you're still gonna do those kind of funny things that your age group kind of does. And I know a lot of times, even myself, sometimes I want to go a little bit undisciplined. I want to kind of go out on a Friday night and stay up until 4 a.m. But what good does that do for me? So I always try to think logically of the pros and cons of any decision I ever make whatsoever, even as far as how much, I don't know, how much sugar I want to drink today, or what, I'm drinking this buy drink today. It's like a cherry thing. And so I don't know, I just wanted it because it tasted good, for example, right? So that's not a big deal, but I have to keep myself in check, in discipline for the life I want to be. I want to be a multimillionaire by end of 2023, end of 2024. And the only way I'm going to do that is if I mean, I'm not going to get there by being undisciplined. So I have to do everything in my power to get there.
Right. So what would you say is something that's, staying parallel to what Pat's saying about keeping yourself disciplined, because you knew school wasn't going to be the right thing for you. So from then on, what was something that you did? Because obviously you knew if that wasn't it, you had to go all in on something else. So can you touch on that first, say that first month after, when you're like, all right, that's not for me. Here we go.
Yeah, man. So what actually was the straw that broke the camel's back as far as college goes was I failed a music theory class. And I taught myself how to play guitar at age 11. So I was like, okay, something's not adding up here, Like, what is it? Where's the disconnect? And I guess it just kind of came down to, like I said previously, if I don't feel that passion for what I'm doing, it's not going to work out. So, there's a lot of pressure when you're in college. There's like such a stigma about dropping out, and you got your parents on your ass and your family and blah blah blah, all these expectations. And I just had to kind of take the plunge and be like, listen, I'm done with this. And I did. I don't want to say I had a plan on the way out, but I did, in a sense where I knew that I had to do something. I had to do something. And so that first month, wow, I haven't really thought about that. That first month was really just thinking about, what matters, what's important, what am I good at, what do I love, and what I love is creating. I love to create. I love to put my mind to things. I never grew up thinking, oh, I'm going to trade for a living. I'm going to, build my wealth on that. I always wanted to create, whether it was music or photography, or any sort of art, anything like that was really what I was focused on. So I just kind of got down to business with that. I started really working on the photography business, and things just kind of fell into place. Just because I didn't stop. I didn't stop. I really there's not enough hours in the day as far as I'm concerned when it comes to getting things done. Getting the job done. There's always more that you could do. So I just kind of put my ass in high gear, for lack of better words, and just really grinded absolutely everything I could, man. Production, photography, networking, like everything I could, just going around, going to coffee shops, going to just any little event I could get my hands on at the time. And what really changed was when COVID hit, just like what Pat was talking about. When COVID hit, man, that was some of the loneliest time that I had, that quarantine period. And I was basically locked in my house for like 2 weeks with nothing to do. And I noticed the stock market existed. And that was it, man. It was a wrap since then. It was
Right.
just, yeah, man, that was it. It's stock. It
Mhm.
definitely.
Yeah, COVID just forced a lot of people, I feel like, including myself, to look in the mirror and, really evaluate where you're at, because everyone had all these external factors for a while that were keeping them distracted, whether that be school or, just normal things that happen in the world all the time. And COVID was such a shock to everyone that I feel like now people's personal care is at an all-time high. And especially it has to be like that for people our age, because it's either one way or the other is what I've seen. I went to UCSB, so it's a party school. I mean, everywhere is a party school. You can find one at any corner you look, but especially here, I just felt that you're either excelling really high or you're going down. And, this touches back to what Pat was saying about, getting comfortable at school, and they're getting comfortable in the wrong place, because I've seen so many people, whether it be upperclassmen of mine or whatever it might be, stay there for too long. And, it's almost learning from their mistakes so you don't have to make them. And, but what's something else that you'd think now, being out of COVID, you didn't have as much personal time then. What's your kind of day to day? And both of you, Pat, I'll do you first, and then Milan. Like, what's your day to day now? Is it different than COVID? Are you still staying pretty, I wouldn't say excluded from everyone else, but kind of not like blinders on mode? What's your kind of routine as far as being social and finding that fine line?
Yeah, like I said a little bit earlier, Wes, good question. It's just it's like investing. You just put your chips on whatever you think you want to grow, okay? And so whatever direction that you want to grow, whatever aspect of your life, I kind of see it as a wheel, and one part of the wheel has, fun, one part is work, and one part is, some slight leisure, maybe not super fun, but leisure, and then other so on, so on. So, you just kind of put energy into whatever you want to get bigger, okay? And the only way that you really, how I thought is, the only way that I wanted to learn how to actually get better at something is just by putting all my focus and energy towards it. So like I told you, the only way to actually do that is by setting yourself a goal, because if you want to get anywhere, you start here at point A and you have to get to point B. So if you want to get to point B, it's not just going to be a direct route, but, we talked about this the other day too, and touched on that in one of our sessions in the school, in one of our classes, how, there's going to be a lot of road bumps and roadblocks. So most people kind of want the point B, but they won't do the effort or work it takes to get, over here. Because sometimes you even have to go backwards to get back around and then go around whatever point you're in, like back then, I had suffered from a few addictions that I kind of put myself into, and we all had, I know, caffeine addiction or something like that. Most people have like a smoking addiction, or some people even have a drinking addiction. So you have to like pull yourself out of that and go backwards. And then, that's solving a problem's first thing you have to do is admit that you have one. So you have to pull back and then go around and fix that. So as far as the day to day, I mean, I don't even answer some of my friends' FaceTimes from way back, like really good friends' FaceTimes still, because, I have multiple times and all they really want to talk about is, how much they went shopping this weekend or how much money they spent on nothing. The other day, I know people who actually are students too, and they would rather kind of watch a Netflix show or go out for spending like 30 bucks on a piece of chicken at a fancy restaurant than watch a trading video that night. And they're still not a profitable trader last year. So I'm thinking just, what are your priorities? It's nice to have fun a little bit, but at the end of the day, you got to put your face in the books and study, because you can ask Sub told me that he would have like 2 weeks in a row when he was just beginning as a new trader, he was just on the side of his bed up all night long in a position, or up all night kind of staring at Investopedia articles, learning how to do it and what's going on. So it's really just whatever basket you want to put your eggs in.
I love that. And I feel like what I caught from that really that relates to me is, whatever it is that I'm doing, I'm all in. I've had a family history of, there's been alcoholism. Some of my aunts, or not some, one of my aunts is homeless. Just, a lot of addictive personalities, and you need to find something to channel all that energy into, because I have so much energy and I love it. I mean, every day I'm the type of person, I wake up every day. Well, one quick elevator pitch story about me. I had cancer when I was a junior in high school, stage 4 Burkitt's lymphoma, and that changed my life. I don't know, I do know who I was before, but I'm a whole different person now. And now when I wake up, man, is it Christmas morning? I'm so happy to just wake up. And even if my health is all I have, then I have everything. And I really love what you said there about, you just have to keep the same energy, but find something else to pour it into. Milan, would you say that's kind of the same thing for you? Like you knew that you had to focus, and school wasn't enough, or it wasn't a big enough hole for you to dump anything into, or a hole that you didn't even want to look at in a sense. And now you find yourself pouring all your energy into, learning and continuing to excel in trading. So is that what you would say? Do you relate to Pat in that same sense?
Yeah, I could say that.
Mm.
I really, as far as day to day goes, in comparison to COVID, it's definitely not the same. I've always been, like Pat was saying, he's ignoring calls from his friends and stuff like that. Me too. I love my friends, but like we don't see eye to eye on what's important in life. Same thing like what he just said. These guys want to go out drinking, they want to do this, they want to do that. They're great buddies of mine, and I can't put my energy into things like that because there's, like I was saying before, there's not enough time in the day. Not yet. I'll do all the drinking and partying I want when I'm 35 and retired. You know what I mean? When I'm living in that state. But up until then, man, there's no time for any of that messing around. And I've been like that for a very long time. You said you're a very all in type of guy. For me, same thing. It's very black and white. I'm either doing it completely or I'm not doing it at all. So that's kind of how I treat everything. Like Pat said again, I was staying up all night learning about trading once I first got into it, man. Because if I was going to do it, I wanted to be the best that I could be at it. There's no
Mhm.
other way to do it. You're either doing it right or you're doing it wrong. So if you're going to do it right, you have to do it the best right that there is. The absolute best way. You have to find your method and you have to hone it. Everyone talks about having an edge. You really got to find that edge. That's a key in trading. That's a key in life. It's a key for any field you go into. You have to have that edge and focus on your strengths.
Mm.
So, yeah, I mean, the day to day now, it's better. I'm not really locked in the house. I don't have to wear a mask everywhere, so that's cool. But I
Right.
mean, I'm still grinding, man. I'm still doing my thing. Just trying to grow and compound and continue building.
Yeah.
Day in and day out, man. It doesn't stop. It's work. It's hard work, but I know it'll pay off, and that kind of gives me solace in that aspect.
Sweet. And now tying this all together, you guys met through Milan joining the community, or how did this all come together for you guys?
Funny story. Funny story. So, I had been if you don't already know, I had been a part of like five different trading discords in the past when I first started because, I was just a young kid. I didn't really know how to learn about this stuff aside from being surrounded by people who I thought knew about it. And I had to be a part of them. So I wanted to learn, naturally. I'd think being in there would kind of be like surrounding myself with the right people. And
Yeah.
my expectations were a little bit wrong though, because I thought I could just kind of join and take some, amazing, same day trades and whatnot. And, long story short, I lost a lot of money, but I actually on the way found a huge, huge, huge gem. One of my best friends of all time now, his name is Milan right here. And the guy had he and I still remember to this day, there was a little live trading chat that they had in there, and they'd let, students like myself back when I was a student talk. And so I actually was talking to him in there, and we were both kind of analyzing the QQQ, getting a little bounce for a quick scalp intraday. I called out the level that it would bounce to the actual cent, and sub was just like, "Who was that? Who said that? Who was that?" And, yeah, and I was like, "It's me,"
That's great. I love
Yeah,
that. And
this
I
is
think
just
when I hear your voice on the channel, I'm like, you sound so familiar. And it's definitely because your voice is very, you can tell you have a deep voice. So it's like because I know the group you're talking about, and I'm pretty sure at the end of when Pat, you were in it, I remember when you pop in and say a couple things, everyone would be like, Pat, Meisztro, Meisztro. I was like, who is this guy? Like, I didn't know because that was the only little, sighting I'd see of you. And then
yeah.
later on, then I saw on Instagram and stuff, you started your own community. And I'm in the community now for people that don't know. And I wasn't before. I'm a realtor in Santa Barbara, and that's my primary, that's my career. Trading something I do on the side, and I'm able to meet great people like these two guys here. And but now with the community, how long has it been around now, Pat?
It's been around since about July to August, shifted over from July to August of 2021.
Sweet. And I mean, it's grown even this is like probably the fifth time I've told you this, but since I left it, which was in I think in the spring of last year or so, and then until I joined 2 weeks ago, I'm like, wow, it's a night and day difference of just you're still getting a ton of education and great material then, but now where you're getting as much more hands-on education, whether it's in the channel or now great admins, because like this isn't a bad way at all, but before it felt like, Pat was, someone that I really wanted to talk to and like analyze stuff with, and I didn't really know who else to. Now I know the names that have been there for a while, and having someone like Sub, I mean, Sub's a person that you can hear talk on the voice channel, and you're like, damn, I know he knows what he's talking about. And I think this is one of the most important things I want to touch on in this whole thing is, teaching people how to invest their money. And you guys do it better than anyone else. You guys do it the right way, the safe way, and really teaching people it from the top or from the bottom up. And other discords, which are some can be really awesome. I mean, I wouldn't have met Pat if it wasn't for the other groups, and they're great, but they don't teach the biggest thing, which is risk management. And what you guys teach is, I just want you guys to touch on real quick, because obviously I know you guys can't get too into it because you just got to join the community if you really want to know it all. But you guys just have the approach what always, caught me was how you start with shares, and most people see options and see as a get rich quick thing. Can you just touch on that and on how much time this really takes to be the skill set of what you two are now?
Yeah. We genuinely believe that given all the work and effort that we've put into our trading program, the school, the way that, you are incepted into the school as a new student, and actually, you have one-on-one experiences with myself or Milan or any of the analysts that we've actually taught. We've taught people from the ground up, from consistent losses to being consistent, successful students. And those people we like to put in the spotlight so that new students can actually gain a more of an inspiration to feel that person and see how, hey, what made you work? How did so quickly you joined this community, and so quickly you were actually able to get confident? One remarkable student I know is one whose name is Elias from the community, as you might already know. And if you don't already know, you'll see him as soon as you join. But the guy was in there for I think 2, 3 months, and his habits were completely night and day, as you said earlier, from what we're experiencing now with him. And he's definitely understanding trading in a very new perspective. So, as far as how I would put it, essentially, if you join the community, what you're going to notice is that you can put in as much work as you want. You can be as active as you want, but know one thing is that trading is trading, and nobody's really going to hold your hand on you're going to be the only one that kind of holds your hand the most out of any of us ever. So you're going to, like, just like in life, you're going to be the one person that you spend the most time with your entire life from the start to the finish. So you better be a really cool fucking person. And if you're going to just come and join the community and be a wallflower, well, it's going to take longer for you to succeed. Elias, however, how I mentioned, the guy was in every live trading possible every single day, studying trading videos like an absolute machine and asking questions nonstop for myself, Subnative, and the other analysts and admins who were in there at the time. So what he's noticed is a rapid growth, right? And that was in less than 2 to 3 months. Another student we had, his name was Jason G. Phenomenal man. Okay, he's an adult, I think mid 30s, I would say. Very good guy, and he pulled out his first $2,000 paycheck, first ever, after joining the school. I think it took him 4 weeks to do that, 4 to 5 weeks to do that. And I could prove that probably if I looked back in the chat logs, because we kind of record what goes on in the community. And yeah, so I would say on average, probably if you joined 2 to 4 weeks, it would probably take to actually teach you everything that is necessary to know about technical analysis. And as far as the psychology part, because the technical analysis part is the easiest part, I'd say, once you kind of learn that, how stocks work, we don't necessarily teach a specific strategy. We just kind of teach why stocks do what they do so that you can kind of be free to build your own strategy and then bring back your skills to the school, to the other students, and to myself. You'll see me take at least 2 or 3 trades a week from students specifically once they post them in the student setup. I mean, we taught them, right, Milan? Like, we taught them. We ought to trust them too, right? I
Yeah,
trust my
students have made
students.
me money a couple times, man. A couple
Absolutely.
students, Red, Marty, who was the other one? With the Brazil ETF, man, he made me money. These students make us money back. It's
Yeah.
amazing. That's, I mean, it's proof right there. The proof is in the pudding. I mean, we're
Yeah.
teaching these guys and they're making us money, like making money for themselves. They're teaching each other. It's like we have a really different environment. It really does feel like a community. And I've been skeptic of Discords ever since the one and only other Discord I've been in where I met Pat. I met Pat there. It was like a 1 week trial. Some like shady kid like slid me the link to it. And I met Pat there. And then like I was like, I hate this. I'm leaving this. I don't want, like, what is this? And at the time, that was a great decision because it was a mess back there when the market crashed and everybody was just doing everything left and right. But yeah, this is so. I was biased against Discords, but now that I'm in this one, it took a little bit of pulling. But I'm glad Pat wrote me in eventually because this place is great. It's fantastic. You really get what you put into it as a student and as an educator, as someone that others look up to, others trust with financial decisions, et cetera, et cetera. We really do give it our all. There's definitely challenges, but it's really worth it because one thing that we definitely do differently that I can say is that we really take the time to connect, like one on one with the individual, and that makes all the difference. That keeps people with us, that keeps people feeling cared about because we genuinely do care about each and every one. I always say in there, I'm like half joking when I say like I wouldn't give you guys a trade that I wouldn't give my own grandmother. You know what I mean? Like I take it really seriously. This is people's money, people's financial freedom. Going back to Jason with the 2 grand, that's not a little bit of money. That's a real nice paycheck for a lot of people. And the fact that he could do that and go spend time with his kids, because of something that we did is just that's that in itself is pay for us. It really does mean the world to us. So
Yeah.
it's
Would you
really nice what we
say
got going on.
that's kind of it's a big responsibility of running the group, and you guys are leading so many people and changing lives. Would you guys say, like, Pat, is that your why? Like, you getting up every day and doing what you do is your why is because of what you've seen, how you can change people's lives?
My why is that I know that these students have suffered. Like I said, I lost $40,000 plus just from so many trading discords, right? these guys just kind of learn a YouTube strategy, and it's almost like honestly that they looked at the same YouTube video and now they just are magic gurus at the strategies and master gurus or whatever. So that's not to say that all of them are doing a poor job. However, my why is that I witnessed how I could actually effectively change the entire model of what a trading school could be. Because most of them, they call themselves something capital or investments or collector or something. I don't even know, but they call themselves these kind of wealth name, even like something wealth or something uh finance, and that's all cool, all well and all, whatever you want to call yourself. But why aren't any of them called school or something, maybe university, or I don't know, academia or something? So
Mhm.
I felt that it was never really centered. All of those schools that or discords that I was in, they never really centered it around the student. And that showed me inside that it was never really about teaching for them, rather than, it was about giving them the fish rather than teaching them how to get the fish, as the common saying is. So I think what my why is, I know that these students could be somewhere else, and we're not a cheap school whatsoever by any means. We actually pride ourselves on our quality because we actually do the job. You join the school, we do the job, we sit with you one on one, give you a personalized experience that actually can help you grow from where you are now. Okay, you even have to fill out an application just to join. We're not just accepting anybody here. This isn't some kind of animal crackers. We're here to give you the actual tools and keys that will succeed for you for life. This isn't some magical strategy I learned on YouTube with EMAs, no indicators, no crypto, no crap, no nothing. It's just straight to the point. You have an iPhone, we trade Apple all the time. You have a Xbox or a TV, Microsoft, that's what we do. So even one other point real quick is that I actually stayed with I like to travel a lot, and so I'll ask some of my students, hey, is there anybody in town, because instead of getting a hotel, why don't I just stay a little bit of time with one of the students? I'm sure they'd love to have me, maybe. And if they do, then I'd love to teach them everything that I could possibly teach them about their psychology, kind of have that in-person, one-on-one kind of feeling. So I love to travel a lot and do that. And most recently, I was traveling in Reno. My brother pretty much goes to school there, but this was recently for the new year. I stayed with one of the students. His name's Brandon. We went snowboarding, everything like that. He told me in person at his house, one like 9 or 10 p.m. We were hanging out in his room, just kind of looking at stocks for the next week. And he was telling me how one thing that he especially admires about the community itself is that this is the first community where he hasn't just felt like a number or just like a customer, but rather he feels like a person that genuinely is looked out for, cared for, genuinely felt the emotions, looking into, asking him and analyzing his psychological state and what direction he needs to go through versus another direction that another student might have to go through. So many different things we do that are unseen by on paper, in the front. And I think that's what really makes me satisfied. I get more satisfied and more juiced when I see somebody post a profit in the profits channel or a loss in the losses channel and then learn from that than I do from just making money on my own trade. Even if I
Right.
did make more than that person, I'm just like, wow, you just yesterday or just last week, you had 2 or 3 red days in a row of losses. And today, in one single trade, you wiped out all of those and made some more on top of it with the consistency. So just a
Yeah.
single one-on-one with sub, myself, or any of the analysts or admins will genuinely, it will change. It will change
Yeah.
your mindset and your life entirely. Just
Mhm.
one-on-one. It's beautiful. So I love
Yeah. That brings me to something else I want to touch on is, I obviously the education and stuff you've taught me about psychology, trading, everything, unreal. I mean, you can't put a price tag on all those different trading videos. And I mean, thinking about that, I've only gotten through 5-10% of them as well is like crazy. And it's already changed so much for me in trading. But I think the biggest thing that I've found value wise out of the group and the community is, like you said, you treat everyone like they are what they are, a person, and you're not just a number. And I think it's changed a lot for me as far as like really looking at, okay, I need to get better at trading, but there was so much that helped my trading that wasn't actually trading. And I mean that by lifestyle stuff, like working out, fasting again, and you having all those practices and having self-reflection and places where you can vent in the group. It's not just for trading. It's not just, oh, what can I learn today? It's like, no, like this might be the day that you need to take off, or, it's a very balanced way of going
Right.
about it, which I think is so crucial.
Right.
Because I think, especially, I know people our age, you put the pressure on you because it's our personality type. And you got to look in the mirror sometimes, be like, oh, fuck yeah, we're only 22. But at the same time, developing the qualities outside of trading helps you become such a better trader.
Yeah.
And that's, just from personal experience, that's been the biggest thing. And that's why out of any group, like, you see my Discord channels, I'm only in like 1, 2, or 3. And it'll stay that way just because, I've gone through the whole thing of trying every different Discord and thinking this strategy is going to change everything, or this EMA is going to be cooler than, but
Yeah.
this just bringing it all back home and just really keeping it simple and not just in trading, in life, is really, it's really where I think a lot of the quality stands in the group, which is
I
really
know.
awesome.
I genuinely appreciate what you're saying there, Wes, and it brings our group genuinely brings a whole new meaning to the word family when people say they're family and in a group or whatsoever. And I think the number one driving force or factor that actually makes that true is how we're different as a family, is that it's more of an everyone helps everyone group rather than most of the Discord groups that I've seen. And not that this is bad, of course, but it brings a new twist on it. Whereas most of them, from my experience, they'll kind of, all of the members in there will look up to the top 3 or 4 admins, right? So they're the only ones that can talk, and all the students are kind of just there to just have a spectator sort of closed-eyed thing. They're not really engaged or active or exclusive to those students. So we pride ourselves on that exclusivity, and we want our students to be able to speak up, ask a question, and we want you to have that self-reflection channel. So, if you're struggling in life, that there's a safe place online where you can actually be a part of people that are feeling that same emotion, that same, it's 2023, it's a new year. We all want to get rich, but how do we get there? It's psychologically the ability to help each other, the ability for the students to just kind of say, you know what, guys, I'm not feeling 100%. I'm not feeling good today. Is there anybody that out there? And you'll have, without even asking, is there anybody? You'll have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 10 people right there, just ready to say, hey, you've got this. I believe in you, or hey, reach out. They might even privately DM somebody,
Yeah.
and DM you if you're struggling. It's more than just trading. It's more than just wake up, let's make money. It's more. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and it just allows, like, I wouldn't have met you without Discord, and it's hard to find people within, the college life, especially because you went to USD, I'm at SB, similar kind of lifestyles and stuff, and people that you're seeing. And I have a great small group of friends from college that I swam with, that I'm in touch with, but that's it, man. I can count them on both my hands here. And then from home, it's the same thing. And I think that's what I found the beauty in Discord is, at first is obviously you join all these groups, but then filtering it out and using it in the right way can be so beneficial. And, wouldn't be able to do things like this. And, but yeah, I appreciate, again, you guys for coming on here. And I look forward to this next year. I'm so stoked that I've only been, back in the group for 2 weeks. And I know this year we'll cook up a lot, and it's going to be super fun to continue to watch this group grow and watch everyone else's success grow on just a individual level, which will be just insane, because I see the trajectory that this thing's going on, and it's really it's special to watch and be a part of. So I appreciate you guys, a ton.
Thank you so much for having me, Wes. And we're just going to keep crushing it. 2023 is the year, I think, for all of the students. It is, because we're just going to leave all the trash habits that have guided us into less profitable trading in 2022. All the habits, the bag holding, leave it away.
The year of unlearning, baby.
Yeah, it's all about unlearning the poor habits that have been taught out there, the outdated sort of specific strategies. and there's no right strategy, but there's a bunch of wrong strategies. So all we want to do is pick that bug out and rip it out, and then you're just you again, and you're whole.
Yes, sir.
And you're in a place that cares. So
Let's
thank you
go.
so much again, Wes, for having us.
Of course.